Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar on Unily Futures, looking at how we turn your intent and employee experience into experience and action and outcomes. Now, I'm really excited about this webinar. I'm your host, Kaz Hassan. I sit within our marketing function, but I work closely with the Unily community and have some of our industry insights. But I'm also joined by Matthew Boyd and Katie Johnson. Hello, Matt.
Hey, Kaz, how are you doing?
Good. Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Unily.
Yeah, pleasure to meet everybody in the webinar today. My name is Matthew Boyd. I am the head of product marketing at Unily. So, in a prior life, I was also an intranet consultant as well. So I'm interested in how employee experience platforms can really drive tangible value for organizations around the world.
Excellent. Thanks, Matt. And Katie, tell us a little bit about yourself as well.
Hi, Kaz. Hi, everyone on the call. My name's Katie. I'm Principal Product Manager at Unily. I've been at the company for 8 years, and I also originally started as a consultant, helping customers implement their solutions. But more recently, I have been part of the Futures innovation team. So really, really excited to talk to you a little bit more about Futures today.
Thanks, Katie. I also started as a consultant, so you see the common thread between the speakers there. So it's good to have the band back together. Now, in terms of agenda, I'm going to start you off by telling you a little bit about setting the scene in employee experience, what really brought us to this innovation today, before unveiling Unily Futures, that innovation. Then we head over into our exciting demo portion with Matt before heading over to the Q&A. So you can ask your questions, even starting from now, and we'll have Katie in, our principal product manager, to really help us answer those questions. So ask us whatever comes top of mind, and we're really looking forward to answer it. Now, I spot a few familiar faces on this webinar, so I'm sure many of you do know Unily, but for those of you that are new and don't recognize Unily, Unily powers organizational velocity through employee experience technology for some of the most iconic brands, from American Airlines to American Express, CVS Health, across multiple different industries, across multiple different scales, and that looks to continue with this latest and greatest innovation. Now, I want to get us started and just get us a little bit warmed up with a couple of back-to-back polls. Now, my first poll for you is to think about how you're using AI in terms of your personal productivity. Now, where are you in terms of your journey of using AI to enhance your personal productivity? Hopefully, you will be seeing a little poll pop up on your screen any second now to help you answer. But this is really thinking about how you use it to maybe write content quicker or craft and adjust your emails for different audiences, this sort of thing. Cool, I'll give you a few seconds. Hopefully you can see those three options now. So you've got three options. Perhaps you're an advanced user. AI is really integral to how you're working. You use it day to day. Perhaps it's emerging, and so something you're experimenting with, trying a few different use cases, and some things you've really got down, maybe some pockets of excellence. Or maybe you're more in your infancy. You've maybe trialed it out a little bit, but don't really use it day to day in all of the work that you do. So give you a few seconds, just have a think there, decide on one of those three options, what one of those three statements resonates with you most. Now, give you 5 more seconds, and I believe we'll soon be having the results coming up live. So I'm excited to see what you all have to say. Okay, so we see that emerging is probably the vast majority of you, so almost 50%. Some early, trying to learn a little bit about it more before you start using it, and then 21% saying advanced. So when you add up emerging and advanced, you've got roughly 64-65% of you, which is the majority of you using it in part of your work for personal productivity. Now, moving on to our next poll. So hopefully you will see our next poll now, which is to do with comparing and contrasting your personal use with your organization's use, thinking about where is your organization in leveraging AI to really transform employee experience. Have they completely reshaped employee experience in your organization using AI at the core of it? Is it something that maybe you've pondered about? Is it developing? Perhaps you're piloting a few use cases, maybe content creation or maybe sentiment analysis, but it really hasn't transformed the bulk core of delivering employee experience. Or perhaps you're in the early stages, exploring what you could use it for and why you might use it, but haven't really seen that impact of AI in employee experience yet. So a few seconds, which one of those three statements do you connect with the most? Let us know, because we'll be bringing up the results in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Let's see what you have to say. Okay, so results should be pulling through any second now. Okay, I think we have a slight delay, or at least I can't see them on my side yet. It's interesting. It's really interesting for you to think about like how you use it personally, and I think there are some real pockets of excellence. Oh, there we go. Okay, so the vast majority here are in the early stage. So still exploring, impact is still limited, then developing, very few people in advanced. And what's quite interesting there is that you see a large, like majority of us are using it more when it comes to our personal productivity and making improvements there. But when you compare and contrast that with, have we really scaled that in our organization? Have we built AI into the core of what we deliver in employee experience? It seems that's less so the case. So let's carry on with that presentation. And one thing we can't get away from is whether you're using AI for personal productivity or whether you're using it in your organization, AI is not going away. We are entering a new AI native world. So whether you're one of those people that was a ChatGPT early adopter, or maybe you're a bit like me and you're a Claude loyalist with your projects for different use cases, or maybe your organization has turned on Copilot and you're using it to plug it into your meetings and really improve your productivity when it comes to collaboration. It is not going anywhere. And so we really need to have a think about what does this new AI native world look like, because there is loads of opportunity. And the experts agree the opportunity is there. IDC says there's a 250% return on AI investments. But when you look into the fine print here, there is a difference between AI investments when it comes to surface level AI investments, incremental improvements, versus those that actually invest in AI at the core of what they do, completely reshaping what they do as a business with AI. And so what this study really talks about is there is a difference between those using AI and checkboxing say, hey, we've invested in AI, versus those that are the performance champions of tomorrow and have completely looked at what they do with AI at the core. And so when you translate that into employee experience, you need to have a think about how can AI not just support me in personal productivity, but how can it really transform employee experience, understanding employees, delivering based on where they are and what they need at the right time. And so despite all that opportunity, which gets me super excited and gets everyone on this call super excited, there are still some challenges that persist. And I've had a go at trying to put these challenges on this slide. And so when it comes to employee experience technology, one of the big challenges is time to value. What I mean by that is that there is clearly a business need to get critical information out fast. But often this is still outpacing our ability to do it as employee experience teams, often under-resourced. And I'm sure many of people have heard the term do more with less. But as much as people may say that term, the reality for a lot of us is doing less with less. And so what that means is when employees need critical information fast at speed, we're not often able to do it at the rate that's required. The second challenge is cost of ownership. And what I mean by that is as platforms grow in capabilities and features grow, we've got these really great platforms out there now, but often again, they outpace our ability to govern it. And so sometimes you get a kind of graveyard of content and then you lose that trust with your employees. And once that trust is eroded, you may never get it back. And so it's really important that we keep that trust. And so what we don't want to see is that trust lost and lowering adoption and impact. The third challenge is converting communication and information into action and outcome. And what I mean by that is sometimes we've built these great experiences and we've created great content, but a lot of that exists across multiple different platforms. The reality of being able to support an employee do their role involves technology and lots of different tech stacks and creating a flow of work that's seamless and frictionless. But that's really difficult for us to do because it's across multiple technologies that often don't talk to each other or don't talk to each other very well. So that challenge persists. And the final challenge is looking at outcomes over analytics. Now, something I see in the employee experience space is that people still have, whilst they've invested in getting numerate and understanding analytics, the reality is that the analytics don't link to business outcomes and ROI. So how can we really prove our value? And how can we show that the work we're delivering is really valuable insights? And so these four challenges persist in employee experience technology. And so we've taken some time at Unily to try and reflect on these challenges and have a think about, okay, how can we meaningfully overcome these challenges? Not just make incremental improvements. And so we've come to the conclusion that it's no longer possible to overcome those challenges with the AI veneer. We aren't able to bolt on or add on AI parts of technology to overcome those challenges. What we really need to do is architect employee experience with AI at the core. And that's the only way that we're going to be able to overcome those four weighty challenges. And that is where Unily Futures comes in. Unily Futures is the world's first AI native employee experience solution. And I wish I could take credit for this, but I can't, because the two of the people are on the call that I brought with me to tell us a little bit about what Unily Futures is and show us in action what it looks like and how it can help you overcome those challenges. So I'd like to welcome back Matt and Katie. Hi, both of you. How's it going?
Hey, Kaz.
Hey.
Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to this.
Good. No pressure. Live demonstration. So thank you everybody for joining for this as well. So yeah, as Kaz said, the need for incredible digital employee experiences seems to be ever increasing. And so think about the way we operate today. It's you have a need for some great content to go onto your centralized employee experience platform. You need to get permissions. You need to get access to a content management system. And then once you're in there, you start kind of clicking around and planning IA. And this is kind of the status quo. In this new world, we're now introducing you to Indy. And Indy is the world's first digital employee experience agent, able to take your intent to experience. So for today's example, I'd like to give a huge thank you and a shout out to our customer, Mandarin Oriental Hotel Group, who have allowed us to use their brand for today's demonstration. So in this new world, I could say, provide Indy with a conversational kind of input, like, I want to create this employee hub. These are the kind of people that I'm going to be serving. And I want to kind of create like various different pages, whether it's news, events, other kind of concepts. And as I start to provide that input, Indy will actually conversate with me. And this is based on 20 years of knowledge and experience that we at Unily have fed through to Indy, so that they understand all of these concepts and can start planning. Now, obviously, Kaz, you were a consultant and Indy's building things out. This kind of planning in the past, this is what would you say, weeks of workshops?
Weeks, if not months, I would say. Sometimes you have to give people time to reflect on decisions they're making, to really understand what those decisions are before turning certain things on or off. So yeah, the process usually takes months when you think of modern organizations.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, some of those workshops are definitely still going to happen, the thinking that we need to provide, but then Indy can go ahead and turn that into a reality faster than ever. And crucially, as part of that, because it's so fast, we can kind of A/B test and trial our ideas really rapidly and pivot as we need to. Now, Katie, lots of things are going green on the right-hand side faster than we can get through the talk track. Tell me a little bit about how Indy is working right now.
Yeah, so although it looks very simple on the surface, you're speaking to Indy with your requirements and she is working through that. Actually, under the hood, there's a lot going on. So Indy has a team of agents that are all specialized in different tasks. One might be a branding agent that is ensuring that your brand identity is reflected in the pages that are currently being built. There is another agent that works out the information architecture and your navigation to make sure it's intuitive and easy to navigate and reflective of your requirements. Another, a communications agent, really responsible for creating content and communications that are going to engage your audiences, and your page design agent as well, that's actually designing out those pages that you see. So on the right hand side, you can see that there's a home page, about page that are being built out. those page designs and the content within that is being built out as well.
Yeah, and obviously I gave you some time to finish answering the question. So Indy's put all of that together for us. Now at this point, we could go in and see those experiences, but we could also hit the admin panel and go and have a little look at what's been created. So here's the site that we've just set up. And now one of the things that we just showed is that Indy is actually able to generate branding directly from, public-facing websites. But we know that for anybody who works in a marketing team, that's something that you're probably going to really want a lot of fine-tuning and control over. So I wanted to show you that actually anything Indy can create, so light mode, dark mode, for example, can be manually tweaked and changed. So if I want to go for black navigation and take off the gradient there and publish that change, and then maybe I want to update dark mode as well, so that whether a user is in light or dark mode, they get the same kind of navigation experience. I'll set that to black. And again, maybe we don't want gradients on our content at this point. I can publish that too. And in seconds, we've updated that branding to be a little bit more in keeping with what we would expect. And then I can click into the site we've created. Now, in this example, we've gone for the full intranet experience, creating these high-level landing pages, but Indy can help you work through department sites, campaign hubs, whatever the employee experience is that you need to deliver, Indy can work through it. And the idea here is that Indy is always on hand as like an extension of your team. So I go in here and you can see that Indy created the pages that we asked for. But Indy asked, what kind of content types do you want to create? And Indy understands things like news, FAQs, events. And so here, Indy then provides the information architecture, the kind of storage locations, if you will, to put in the content. So no more kind of creating a news library. So Kaz, again, this is some of that thinking that happens in a consultative program when you're planning a new intranet, right?
Yeah, I've actually got a question for you, because I feel like in the process, when launching an intranet, there are so many decisions you're making about what do you turn on, what do you turn off, and often it feels quite committal to, if we turn this on now and we don't have the capacity to create that stuff, how easy is it to turn things on or off, whether it's content types or whether it's certain parts of the site?
Yeah, incredibly easy. So you could obviously manually go and do all of this, whether it's creating new content, deleting it, kind of taking down a site or adding a new site. But you can also now conversate with Indy to do all of these things as well. So you don't even have to, there's no barrier to learning how that content management system is structured. And I think the other thing we've tried to do a lot here with Indy as well is try to think about the kind of thing you mentioned earlier, Kaz, around multi-system environments where maybe your employee experience platform is really designed to bring all of the content from various systems together, and think about things like migration, right? So here I'm just giving Indy documents with small prompts, and Indy is converting that into all of these content items. And you've planned internal governance kind of approaches before. Now it could be as simple as, if you want to add your event to the company calendar, you can send a Word document through to a core team, and they can upload it, pass it through to Indy. And in the matter of time that it's taken us to talk here, we've created all of that content. So I think this is probably the time where we jump to the front and have a little look at what Indy's built. And I think I'd also say, just before we do so, is that, Katie mentioned the different agents. One of the agents is a media agent who will have generated, in this case, AI images. So of course you can use your own on-brand asset libraries for these kind of experiences. But in this case, it's going to have created images for us just in a matter of seconds. So we're into the homepage, and already I can see it's looking great. But before I click through, maybe there's something I kind of want to fine tune or tweak. So we talked about Indy always being with you. So I can just click on the drop down and do edit page. And this gives us a front end editing experience where I could click into any block and manually change it, redesign the page, or add new layouts. Or I could select a block and I could say, update this to be a video of someone at the concierge desk helping hotel guests while smiling, because they're very happy in their work. And so I could just do something like this. And as you can see, again, because this is a new way of working, the team, Katie and the Unily Labs team have really focused on how Indy gives exposure to how they're going to operate. So Indy gives you a plan and says, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start by kind of updating this block to use video, and then I'm going to generate you a video because you haven't provided one at this point. And so we get this really kind of simple interface as we start to work with AI. Sometimes this kind of conversational feedback demystifies the experience. And of course, I could scroll down the page, and if I wanted to change any other thing, I can click into it. I can say company news and team updates, so I can change text and just start kind of real-time editing anything that I need to. We can see the news articles that is created around sustainability and internal employee development, etc. And I can click in and change anything. And here we've got somebody at the concierge desk helping a customer who looks very happy. So let's do save and exit. And there we go. And we've now updated that content. So really fantastic and incredibly easy, and obviously fully supported by that AI extension of your team. So here's the news articles we created before. We can scroll down. We've got something around supporting sustainability goals. If you go to our about page, for example, we can find out about the unmatched service that the Mandarin Oriental Hotel Group provide, their achievements and metrics, even see kind of members of their leadership team from across different departments. Of course, no real faces used here either. So really great stuff. Now, we also added some events as well. So we can join key company events here. We can see our company calendar with the events we uploaded. So we could click into any one of these and register. And we added a sustainability page as well. Learn about our sustainability commitments. What kind of achievements are we making in sustainability? The green journey, for example, that we're kicking off, and any kind of other updates. And then finally, we added a page about the Hyde Park Hotel. So here, for example, we're going to get like updates around, photo galleries of the hotel, for example, guest experiences, things like that, as well as promoting the Hyde Park launch. So lots of kind of interesting information that Indy has been able to generate for us, all with what was ultimately a few sentences. And of course, that's all been done in seconds. So it's not about, delivering perfection. It's about an accelerator, time to value, Kaz. As you said, anything that you can take and build for you, you can go in and edit and fine tune. Mm-hmm. Now, one of the concepts we really spoke about, is information to action. And I think that is an area where Katie and the team have invested a lot of time and effort. And it comes in the form of Unily Glass. So Unily Glass is really named after the single pane of glass. It's something that I think a lot of organizations aspire to. And it's all about how we can take the incredible information we deliver in an employee experience platform and link it to the very best next action they can take, whether it's, looking at, the latest deals they work at because they've got in their pipeline because they work in sales, or whether it's kind of looking at any unread emails from their clients that they need to kind of respond to. In this new interface, you get a personalized dashboard of your integrations, which are always on hand and available to you, even going so far as to suggest quick actions that you might routinely take. And it isn't just about data coming back in a conversation. You can see that Unily Glass is able to create dynamic visualizations of returned data and responses in real time. Katie, having worked with many customers and the desire for integrations, can you tell me a little bit more about what you think this kind of is going to mean for organizations?
Yeah, absolutely. I have worked with, large enterprise customers, as well as smaller customers. And the common theme is I have so many apps, sometimes more apps than employees within my organization. And as an employee, it's very overwhelming. And that's getting even more overwhelming when you start to think about all of the agents and assistants that are also being created right now. So we really have been trying for a long time with our integrations framework and our extensibility to provide that single pane of glass experience. Now, Unily Glass takes this to a whole new level where I have one interface to pull information from. So I have a need, I need to access some information. It's going to connect me to the right integration, the right answer within the content itself, or even the right assistant, and serve that information through one experience. It will also, and one of our real goals is for Glass to become proactive as well. Understand the context of that employee, what page they might be on in the platform, and therefore proactively feeding that employee with information from those third-party tools as well. So really trying to remove that digital friction for your employees.
Yeah, and I completely agree with all of that, and it's so good to see us kind of capitalizing on the possibilities that are brought through Glass. Natural language processing. You saw while Katie was speaking, I could say things like "create me a lead," and Glass is able to interpret the intent of that natural language request, find the correct underlying system, checking, of course, that the user has access to that system, and then returns a form in real time, so you can carry out those microtransactions in that context, right? Breaking down that digital friction, which is amazing. And the other important element as well, Katie, of course, is that as you start to adopt AI assistants and co-pilots, and even creating your own internal LLMs or kind of information databases powered by AI, Glass is going to be the window into all of those services as well. So here, we did it. I kept it very simple. This is just using the LLM that Unily has set up. 3 top tips for using a Mac, and I get an instant answer. But this could just as easily be asking questions against a secure internal LLM you've established, or even passing through queries to your own instance of Microsoft Copilot, for example. And the native intelligence in Glass will route that request to the right endpoint, whether it's your AI assistant, your co-pilot of choice, or if it's an integrated system where there's a quick action that can be taken. We're providing the intelligence and the routing that you need. So super powerful, and of course becomes a way to amplify and multiply the value of your AI investments, because you're surfacing it to your people more readily, through your employee experience platform. So I think that at that juncture, Kaz, we'll hand back to you. But thank you very much. I hope everybody enjoyed the demonstration. Big shout out again to the Mandarin Oriental Hotel Group for letting us use your incredible brand identity today for the demonstration.
It looked great as well. Thanks, Matt. Also, I hadn't seen the top tips for the Mac before. I know you just got a Mac, so
yes,
that would be incredibly useful. So thanks, Matt, for that demo. We are now moving on to our Q&A portion. I can already see that there are a few questions that are coming in. You can also vote on other people's questions if there's some that's top of mind for you. I wish I could answer all these questions. Unfortunately, I can't answer. So I've got Katie with me to support me with these questions. Hopefully you can see those questions as well.
Yes, I can. Thank you, Kaz. Thank you, Matt, again for an amazing demo as always. Right, so let's run through the questions that you have. So the first one that I see at the top: can you use Indy if you have an existing intranet? How does that integrate with the CMS? Yes, absolutely. All of our customers will be able to use Indy with their existing content and their existing intranet. So when we launch, which is June of next year, this will be available as the next version of Unily. So you will simply upgrade to the next version, and you will have the ability to use Indy as well as Glass. Next question: does Glass integrate with Copilot? So yes, I think Matt touched on this as well as this question came through. Yes, that's actually one of the first integrations that we will be releasing as part of Glass. As hopefully some of you already know, we've been partnering with Microsoft to build a Copilot connector as well. So Unily content also is served through Microsoft Copilot, but also Copilot will be served through Unily Glass as well. Can Indy also connect to site analytics to share engagement on my site? Yes, absolutely. One of our goals is to really help you get closer to how your content is driving impact, and Indy is part of that story. So we also want Indy will be the expert, the employee experience expert that will be partnering with your content creators to deliver the best most engaging content, but she'll also be with you throughout that whole life cycle, ensuring that your content is optimized based on how people are engaging with that content as well. So next question, Indy can be used to create whole intranet sites, individual pages or content from scratch, and also edit existing pages or content. Yes, absolutely. So she will be able to create sites, pages, communications, but also they'll be able to edit, optimize existing content as well. Next question, is any information submitted through Indy made public? No, absolutely not. So at Unily, we work with the largest enterprise organizations. We really need to be, we've always been mindful of data privacy and legislations around this topic, and we will continue to make that a top priority. We have some guiding principles when it comes to models that we're using with agents, but those principles are all about ensuring that your data is kept within your infrastructures, but also that we're not training on that data either. So no information is being shared.
Yeah, and Katie, the way I like to think about it is that everyone is going to get their own Indy.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Your Indy, your employee, firmly within your estate and only talking to you. So
yeah. Can you determine which admins have or do not have access to Indy? Yes, so as we progress through to launch, this is one of the areas that we're really thinking about, because we know, working with our customers, that we could have hundreds of content creators in the system creating content that may have different experiences and skill sets when it comes to content creation. We have a very granular permissions model today, and we will continue to ensure that you are able to effectively govern the tools and capabilities that your content creators have. So that we will be considering Indy as part of that permission structure as well. Cool. So what is Glass in relation to Indy? So these are two separate solutions. So Indy is your employee experience consultant partner when it comes to your content creators. So your communicators and content creators will collaborate and partner with Indy when creating, optimizing, governing their platform. Glass is for your end users and your employees. So Glass is a separate solution that we're launching that will resolve that digital friction and bring your integrations, assistants, agents, and search into one single pane of glass experience. Next one, will these customization features with colors, fonts, etc., be available outside of Indy? Yes, absolutely. So we're taking the opportunity when we launch Futures to also deliver a optimized user experience and user interface in the admin portal, but also in the front end as well. So you will see an elevated and modernized look and feel. As part of that admin experience, we are elevating the theme building experience. So not only can Indy infer your brand, you can also either create from scratch or modify the brand colors that she's extracted, and you'll be able to tailor your primary colors, secondary colors, your fonts, your font sizes, radiuses. All of those things will be editable within your admin portal. Next one, when should we look forward to seeing a visualization of the connection between Indy and the back end's CMS? I'm interested in understanding how everything will work together. So I am going to do a plug here for the Lighthouse program that will be starting in January. So for all of our customers, we will have a Lighthouse program running from January through to about May, where we'll be partnering with our customers to test, validate, and optimize the Indy Glass experiences. So they'll be getting hands-on with these solutions and helping us really optimize that user experience as well. So plug there for that.
And when it comes to, if you're looking forward to kind of more diagrams to help understand some of the kind of architecture of Indy into the content management system, we're going to be, building those out over the coming months, and we'll be uploading them first for customers via our customer community portal called Universe. So you'll find diagrams published in there in the near future.
Thank you, Matt. So next question, what is the timeline for these features and when can these be made available to us? So we're planning to launch the version Unily Futures at the end of H1, so about June time of next year. So you'll be seeing Glass Futures, Glass and Indy, as well as the refreshed interface for the front end and the admin portal as well. There's also some more things to come, so stay tuned.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't give it all away.
So stay tuned. Some more exciting things to come as well within that time frame. The other thing to note is that what we are trying to do at the moment is look at ways that you can get access to Glass within your current Unily interface as well. So we should provide more information on that as we make a little bit more progress, but hopefully we will see that a little bit earlier in the year next year. So a question from Sarah. You presented. I've just lost that question.
People are voting, and it's one of their favourites for the answer. We've probably got time for 2 or 3 more.
You've presented some beautiful page designs here. Does Indy also work well with rather boring, detailed info, which make up a lot of the intranet? Yes, absolutely. So as part of that agent architecture that I was talking about a little bit before with that team of agents, Matt mentioned that they are trained with 20 years employee experience. A part of that is really understanding those use cases for the different page types, the different types of information that you want to share on the platform, whether that's a key announcement, leader information, more community experiences, or more knowledge-based and informational pages. And what Indy's going to do is understand those different scenarios and use cases and create content optimized for those scenarios, using best practice guidance there as well. So Indy will also be able to create pages that still look beautiful and amazing, but will be heavier on the text side of things. She should be giving you best practice guidance as well, so you don't end up with pages that people might not disengage with because it's too text heavy, for example. So they'll be there to guide you along the way.
Yeah, and in a bit of a 2-for-1 question answering scenario, jumping ahead, can Indy generate copy for a page? The answer to that is absolutely yes. So in all those scenarios, I provided very simple prompts, and Indy expanded those prompts into writing significant volumes of copy. And on those more information-heavy pages, you could provide lots of copy where Indy wouldn't need to generate any additional, and they can work either way.
Nice. Let me do a final question and then
final question. Yeah.
I've seen there's lots of questions coming in. If we haven't had time to come to yours, we will be sure to follow up. So we'll probably reach out via email to help you get that addressed. But also I'll be telling you about how you can keep up to date with the latest and greatest in Unily Futures as well. So lots of ways to get involved and get your questions answered.
Cool. So we're doing one more.
Yeah,
Perfect. Okay, so a question on brand guidelines. Is this something Indy can be trained for? Like feed it with brand guidelines so that it will generate content aligned with our brand? Yes, absolutely. So not just from a colours, fonts perspective, but a tone of voice perspective, and language to be used within the content. We are working through those use cases and scenarios right now, so that Indy considers all of that and ensures that the content that's created is aligned to your brand.
Kaz, I'm going to be super cheeky. There are only 2 final questions. Yeah. Will Unily Glass be part of the Lighthouse program for customers as well as Indy? Yes, Unily Glass will be part of the Lighthouse program. Register now, definitely. And somebody else asked, could we use Indy to apply style consistency or changes across the existing sites and pages because you're considering a rebrand and this would be immense? The answer again is yes. Indy works in a highly consistent manner as you create new pages and experiences, including moving older experiences forwards to the new look and feel. So the answer there is yes as well. There we go. We did them all.
There are even more than that. We just couldn't get them through in time. I'm just in the background trying to work it all out, but we will get there. And if yours one of the few that's in the backlog, then we'll make sure to follow up on those as well. So thank you so much. Also, really excited about the brand stuff. I know a lot of people in employee experience communications have to be held to an nth degree when it comes to that stuff. So really excited the granularity there. Let's bring the presentation back. People giving lots of hearts and claps. So thank you so much, Matt and Katie. So lots of questions. We can see how engaged you all are. If you want to see AI in action and maybe take a little bit of self-guided tour, you saw Matt give a tour of Futures there. If you want to have a click around the Unily platform and see what types of AI features, functionality that we've got that are adding value today, that's something you can do right now, self-paced at your own pace, and whenever you want to, you can click the Take the Tour button there, and that will take you directly through. And we'll also follow up via email if you want to take that as well. And I can see that lots of you want to be kept up to date with Unily Futures. I am one of those people too. If you want to follow the journey, hear what's being announced when, hear more about the Lighthouse program and how you can get involved in that, or see how you might be able to switch from your current platform to the new Unily Futures, that's something you can do. Please follow us on the journey. You can either scan that QR code or you can click that button right there, and that will take you through. So pop your email in and be kept up to date with all the latest when it comes to Unily Futures. Thank you so much for listening, engaging. That's so many great questions, really detailed ones. Well, that's how we love to see it. Thanks to Matt and thanks to Katie for the demo and lots of great answering of those questions. That was a bit of a shift there, Katie, so well done. Thank you so much for attending, and we look forward to being in touch. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.